Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm Joe.
And I'm Tammy.
And this time we are deep way down south in Florida, and we are at
Collier Seminole State Park.
Wow, this is an amazing park full of history and a great place to visit. Let's go check it out. And a real quick look at the map. As you can see, it's down on the south end of Florida, located outside Naples. Once you reach the park, it is a very short drive to the ranger station, and just beyond that, you'll reach the campground. Check-in time is at 3 p.m. Checkout is at 1 p.m. Alright, as you approach the ranger station, you will continue on and pass the first building and make your stop at the second one. And as you make your way to the campground, you will see this historic building. It is called the Blockhouse, and it was originally built to protect the occupants from the local native Indians. All right, we are headed in. The sun's going down. We're heading in. It is horrible. The no-see-ums are biting. The deer flies are everywhere, and the mosquitoes, the giant mosquitoes, are bad. And all we did was take Cooper for a quick walk, and I've been bit like about 6 times by all 3 of those bugs I just mentioned, and it's only going to get worse as the sun goes down. So we're heading in, and we're locking the doors. We'll see you in the morning. All right, guys, we're doing the tour of the campground. It's going to be a quick drive-through because the park's kind of big and it's very hot, so I don't want to spend a whole lot of time out here today. But there's 2 loops. One's really small. It is sites 1 through 19. It is recommended mainly for tents and extremely small campers, and once we start showing you these sites, you're going to see why. And right here is campsite number 1, right here on the left to start this thing, and it is occupied. You see there's like no room here, guys. Very nice campsites, but they are just not made for the modern RVers. Here's another one, site number 2. It's also occupied with a tent. Campsite number 3, this one's empty. It does have electric and water. Picnic table, no fire rings. They do not have a fire ring. But this one does have a fire ring. This is campsite number 4. Even though you're tucked away in the weeds here, in the brush and the woods, not much shade over being provided by the trees themselves. You're kind of like out in the open in the, see what I mean? Not much shade there. So I don't know where you'd pitch your tent to be in the shade, so you're gonna struggle here.
Well, this is one of those things you can rent. You should have got that. It's called Welcome to Naples 6.
Hold on, we got like one of those
Timberland
tent.
No, Timberline glamping, it says.
Timberline tent. It's basically a tent, guys. Here, Tammy's gonna show you. This is campsite number 6.
It's got an air conditioner.
It's got a tent with a screened-in type porch.
A hammock.
A fan in there.
A barbecue grill. Some Adirondack chairs. It looks pretty big too.
Yeah.
It's got an air conditioner. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
It's
getting a lot more than probably a cabin, maybe.
I wonder how many of those they have here.
That's pretty cool. Here is site number 7. So if you have like a pop-up, not much bigger than that, you might be able to come over here, but I don't see anything in here other than tents right now. So you might want to check the reservation, see what's going on in here.
Here's another one of those.
Another Timberline.
Yep.
This is site number 8.
And this one is wheelchair accessible as well.
And it looks to be occupied. I see some bicycles in there.
Mm-hmm. That one's a nice size, but again, no shade.
You see the fire pit has the ability to cook on it. I do want to mention that the temperature is like 96 degrees. I've mentioned it already in the video. It is so hot and dry here right now that there is a fire ban going on, so you can do charcoal and gas grill if you have your own grill and charcoal grill.
Now site number 11 has some shade from those trees, but I'm sure only during certain times of the day.
Yes. Site number 13. Electric
That
pedestals
one,
all the way over in the corner. You might be able to get a small trailer in there.
yeah, that's a nice size site. Site number 13.
You know, it's the biggest site I've seen in this small loop here.
And site number 14.
Here you have a trail that leads to, what is that?
I don't know.
Oh, that's a bathhouse.
That's a big bathhouse.
That's a big bathhouse. I have a feeling it's probably from our park too, from our loop.
I don't think so. I don't think I could see it from there, but maybe.
A couple more of those timber lines. These are really cool.
These have bikes too. Maybe they rent them with bikes.
Yeah, maybe they're included, huh? Yeah,
Maybe.
there's some bikes at this next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's no way you're getting small units in here. I don't see anybody in here. So this has got to be tent only. I'll have to look at the paperwork.
So it looks like these come with a bike, both one for male, one for female, and helmets.
Okay. And just so you know, according to the map, there is a dump station in this loop.
Really?
Yeah, between site 14 and 15. So we've already passed it. Maybe that's the shower house back there. Because it's showing like a camper and dump station, so maybe that's what that was. Site 18, very nice little spot. And the last site for this little loop, site number 19. They give you a lot of price. They're nice. Electric and water, once again. That's it. Let's go on to the main campground. All right, here's a quick look at the other camp loop. As you can see how it's shaped, it's like an upside down pyramid, and it goes from campsites 20 through 105. Now these have all kinds of sites. There is a few pull-through sites, but mainly they are back-end sites. Now we're not going to be able to show you all of the sites because it is quite large, and some of the sites are tricky, just to let you know. But as far as the amenities, they have water, electric, 30 amp and 50 amp as far as electric, and then the water. There is a dump station here provided. You do have a picnic table and a fire ring, and the fire ring has the ability to cook on it, but once again, at the time of this video, there is a fire ban put in place, so there is no fires currently. But you can see the sites are primarily grass, and some of them have gravel.
So just so you know, there's a path back there that walks back through to that other big building back there, which must be a big shower house and stuff. But we have our own bathroom on this side.
Shared with that smaller site, so
yeah.
you can see it from here. So right here we have the dumpster and the dump station behind it. There's enough dump stations there for 2 rigs at a time. There is water provided right here, but is not recommended for drinking. And you see the sites are a little bit close together. There's no really any privacy. So once you get your rig in there, the sites do become a bit tight. Some of them are a little wider than some are not. Like we have campsite 50, and we'll show you the details of that one here in a little bit. But it's really long, deep to get our rig in there, but we have like no space for living or even on the utility side. So as far as camping here, it's just kind of in and out. All right, so anyway, this is the sites right here, 36 on up. These back right up against the main road, US 41, so you can hear the traffic throughout the day and night. Throughout the night I did hear it a few times myself, but it wasn't
Horrible.
Yeah, it wasn't crazy horrible. Now look at this. This is campsite number 40 right here. Look, you got a fire hydrant right in the middle of it. So if there's a fire and you're camping there, expect the fire department to come pay you a visit to hook up their hoses.
Nice space there though. A lot of room.
You got a little bit of shade in that one. All right, and then you have the really nice shower house. Really nice shower house, nice hot water here. Bathrooms are clean. They do a good job here.
They do also have a washer and dryer available for use as well, right here.
And out of my side of the camper, here's some more sites. You can see some of them get really small. So when you're out here looking for a campsite, make sure you're doing your homework because they are very small, some of them. Like right here, you got this roped off area because you got a hole in the ground, and then right in the middle of your campsite, site number 64. Now, these are the campsites 100 on up to the 105. These are butted right up against the wild marsh or swamp, I guess. This is where we stayed 5 years ago in our motorhome, and it was such a problem with the mosquitoes. It wasn't even funny. You know, like we said, what we did in this video, as soon as it got dark, we tucked in, we went inside and locked down because of our experience last time. You couldn't even be outside. You couldn't even be standing in a paved road without being bit. Broad daylight. The bugs are just really, really bad. That's the only downside to this whole park, because as far as picking a campsite, yeah, they're tight, but it's camping. You know, camping is whatever situation's thrown at you. So. All right, guys, I'm going to try to record this. The wind's starting to kick up because we're close to the ocean, and that's how you get, and that's what you get. You get a bunch of breeze all the time. So anyway, this is campsite number 50. It is one of the longest ones in the park. We are 41-foot camper with our truck when we're hooked together at 66 feet, and as you can see, we got plenty of room. So those of you that have some super big rigs, you'll be able to fit in here, and you will be able to navigate in here without any issues. Now the thing is, this campsite is very narrow. I left a little room on the utility side because there's a bunch of dips and things, and that would have made it a little difficult to level. So I pushed the camper over on this side. You see, this is our picnic table. Here's our fire ring with the ability to cook on it, and this is our fence. And you can see, once you come down the steps, we're technically going to be in the neighboring campsite, but I checked to make sure nobody was camping there before I parked here like this. But this is where your neighbor is. That means they're going to back in right here, and they're going to be backed right up against your living side. So like I mentioned earlier, the campground's a little weird because they've made this pyramid shaped thing. I don't know what that's all about, but and then when they designed the campsites, obviously the campsites were designed for a lot smaller campers from way back in the day when they built this campground, which was like in the 40s. So super duper not friendly for the modern day stuff like this, but it's doable. And what we're doing here is we're only doing one nighter. We're getting ready to leave here in a little bit. Is because we're actually on our way to the Florida Keys, and this is like a big push to be more than halfway point from our home to the Keys, because you know, you don't know what driving through Miami and down US 1 to get into the Keys is going to deal you traffic wise, accidents, who knows, because this is also a holiday weekend coming up, and so that's why we're here. And we, you know, like I said, I've been here before. It was 5 years ago. That was before our YouTube days, so I needed to come back here for sure, one way or another, to get this documented and off my bucket list, technically, of videos. All right, let's tour some more of the park. And right now we're down at the waterway, which is where you're gonna see the launching pad for the canoes and kayaks, the deck for fishing, and a boat ramp to launch motorboats, and some additional parking for the day use area. Day use pavilions, playground, restrooms, event building where you probably pick up your paddles and life vests for the canoes and kayaks.
They're nice umbrellas too.
Nice size, give you some shade.
Yep.
Very nice. Couple more over that way. All right, guys, so part of this park, you know, because I've been here 5 years ago, like I mentioned earlier, it used to have a memorial type of thing, of display rather, but it had a couple like grass huts right in this area with a canoe inside of it, and it was in memory of the native Indians that resided in this area, but it's gone. So that goes to tell you what happens when you have extreme hurricanes come to the area. And also the ranger station at the entrance, you see that the one was closed, and then there was the temporary one that also took a hit from the hurricane, and that thing was built from 1947, and they're going to tear it down and rebuild a new one because it just you know, through all that time, it's just taken too many beatings from hurricanes and things fall apart. So it's a shame that you know, some of our history and heritage and pride, you know, gets wiped out just from over time from Mother Nature. But anyway, here is a monument for Baron Collier. He's the person that this park is named after. So this is some of the history here of the park I'm going to show you, and there's more to it than that. So here it is, you know, the little memorial statue bust of him, and this really cool column structure right behind him. It's all made out of marble, but he was the founding father of Collier County. And back in 1941 is when this was landmarked, erected in 1941. Yeah, he was born in 1873 and passed in 1939. So, and then of course, you know, the ranger station, you know, been there since 1947, so it was in the 40s when this park was built. We have one more piece of history to show. All right, it's hot out here. It's like 96 degrees. It's summertime, so the mosquitoes are really bad, and Tammy's staying in the car while I've filmed this last bit. So one of the most interesting pieces of history I've ever seen at any state park in Florida is at this park, and I'll go over it as I show you the unit. So it is a dredge, and it was used to build Tamiami Trail that goes from Naples, Florida to Miami, and it was an important road to build it. And this is what they used, and it's called a walking dredge because that whole stretch is nothing but swamp and water and muck. So they'd cut trees down and lay them down, and have the bucket grab and pull this whole unit over on top of the logs, you know. And you know, kind of the scenario, if you're familiar with how they moved the big rocks building the pyramids in the Egyptian area, it's kind of the same scenario as how they moved it, but they used this, and I believe, and hopefully I'm not wrong, I thought there was 5 of them that was in use. to build it in all directions. But when they completed the road, they either sold them or abandoned them, and then they were all scrapped for metal. And this is the only one that was survived that situation. But yeah, this is amazing. So it had a steam engine, as you can see as we're coming up on it. It was a steam engine, and then it ran off of a series of belts, because this big giant wheel would be spinning back and forth, and there's the pistons from the steam pulling all this. And then you can see where the belts would engage there, and then they had levers pulling this, and that would raise and lower and pull forward and reverse the bucket, opening the bucket, closing the bucket, and whatnot. And then there's some gears down there to anchoring it and all that stuff. And there's the levers right there, so somebody would stand out there and work this. And this is all the steel framework that held this thing together. So the concrete that you see down there would represent tree logs that would stretch all the way across to the other side to make this thing roll when they would be moving it. But last one that I know of its existence, I don't know if there's any more throughout the country, because there was a company that built these right here. The dredge, walking dredge from 1924, guys. And the American Society of Mechanical Engineers of 1993 is when they put this as a National Historic Engineering Landmark. So that's really amazing. I have a few pictures that I might post into the video here too, because like I said, I've been here 5 years ago, and I always felt that this was a really cool thing. So yeah, so once they got down from one, they started in Miami and got all the way over to here, and once they finished, they just kind of abandoned the equipment because they no longer needed it, because they were only going to build so many roads way back in the day. And the funny thing is, I'm surprised they even built a road, because when they built that road, railroads were a big thing. So why did they just build a railroad, to transport people and goods back and forth? So, but anyway, that is the dredge, the history of the dredge. Very historical thing. So if you decide to come down this way, it's well worth a few minutes of checking it out and doing the read up on the literature there they have posted. So, and man, is it hot. Well, this park was worth coming down here and visiting it a second time, and we think you would like it too. Grab yourself some bug spray and head on down. You should consider subscribing to our channel. You never know, we may be guilty of adding to your bucket list. And as always, thanks for watching. Two for the road.